Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay in the back? Okay, great. Well, firstly, a very warm welcome to both the members in the audience, as well as my esteemed panelists. Let me start with Santosh. Santosh, the first construct that we're going to talk about is around client centricity and building an organization of client centricity. So my question to you would be, how do you go about training your organization to think from a customer-centric point of view? What are the guiding principles in your view that can help build your organization as a customer-centric organization?
I would be a little theoretical on this in terms of if you want to build a customer-centric organization, you need to be very, very clear in terms of what you can deliver and what you want to deliver. And then create an entire communication as well as the connect at that. And this connect you need to create at predominantly at 3 different levels. This connect with the consumers or your customers you can have at a value level, which is a value connect in terms of that this is the value which I am delivering to you and deliver that. The second connect which you can think of creating is at an experience level, the experiential connect, that if you are coming to me, that this is the kind of the experience which I am going to deliver to you. And the third and the highest level connect would be an emotional connect, where you are engaging consumers or your customers at an emotional connect level with your brand, and then maintaining that connect by, behaving in that manner, which the emotional connect which you're maintaining.
So what you're saying is, you have to apply the same paintbrush across the organization.
Absolutely.
And you have to pick which of these connects make sense for your industry, for your consumer.
I would say that all of these make a sense across the industry, but you need to identify where you need to maintain the highest level of the connect. You need to be at a hygiene level in all 3. That you need to have a basic experience, you need to have a basic emotional connect, you need to have a basic value. Okay. But you can, rather than spreading your energy across everything, you need to excel in one and create a niche in that.
Sumit, from a supply chain perspective, what's your point of view on driving customer centricity within your organization?
In our case, what we do normally to enhance customer satisfaction level, we prioritize 5 things normally, which is first is technology and automation. Technology should be customer friendly. Second is processes should be such that it is across the country, it is identical. Third point we do as a company is training to the manpowers. Fourth, we see that all the processes or the service level agreements are met and those are measurable. So if there is any gap, any flaws are there, so it is taken care of. And last point is you need to be continuous, you need to be improved. So that is my take.
Amar, would you agree with that? What's your view?
Unfortunately, I don't understand all this high-tech funda about customer services. Just go down to some very simple fundas of going back to the guy on the floor who's dealing with the customer and saying, partner, customer ko khush rakh. Do whatever it takes. So in our organization, I remember we were asked to draft a customer service policy. Jo karna hai kar, make sure the customer is dealt with on the spot. Whoever comes in contact with the customer, he has to give him a solution no matter what. Irrespective of the size and scale, he has to give the guy a solution. He's not allowed to say, "Main manager se baat karta hu." Instant solutions, simple solutions, do what is right on the spot. Now, in some cases, the company may be happy with the decision. Some cases, you may not be happy with the decision. But one thing is for sure, the customer will be happy. This whole long-drawn discussions on customer service and customer connect and customer management, this is all a consequence of extremely educated people who don't even go down to the shop floor and see what's going on with the customer. So I think if we stop all this educated nonsense and just go down to what Ritu called the Dukandar mentality, and Dukandar knew that this is my customer, ye iski roji roti, meri roji roti isi se aati hai, isko khush rakhna hai, no matter what. He would bend backwards, jo karna hai. There were no rules for him. The guy used one very important technology called common sense. We wouldn't need to write books on customer service. We'd need visiting cards on customer service.
I'd like to move on to the next section, which is the voice of the client section. Let's take a few steps further as we talk about client centricity. Now, at the heart of this client-centric mindset is your ability to assimilate, understand the voice of the client. So I guess I'd start with Samir here. Samir, how best can you infuse the voice of the client in how you run your business? What's your advice on that?
I think most companies in India, in retail, don't adequately capture the voice of the client, listen to the client truly. Okay, you only listen to a client when a customer really has a serious complaint. Another point I'd like to highlight is that most customer complaints or customer issues can best be handled on the spot, on the floor, with the empowerment, with smart, trained people who can think on their feet. And if a customer leaves your retail shop dissatisfied and with an angry mindset, trust me, they will speak to 10 to 15 people about it. Okay? That's a proven international fact. So I think you have to, and the other thing is that a lot of people are not very actively engaged in wanting to get consumer feedback. When do you go to a retail shop, whether it's, even whether it's a Zara or any of these international brands, where you have someone who even walk up to you and ask you how your experience is? If you're shopping in India, whether it's a shoe brand or a clothing brand, no one asks you. It's different in the hospitality industry because often you have that ability when someone is checking, when waiting for their bill, along with the bill you give a feedback form. You can collect feedback, you have to collect consumer data, you got to collect it on the spot, you got to give them the ability to respond on email. The other very important point is that consumer data that you get is a gold mine. And most organizations underutilize and don't realize the potential of this, because you can segment it, you can use it, and you can then use it for marketing and for promotions. I think that's a very untapped opportunity.
I think that's a good point. I mean, most organizations would probably find the amount of VOC that they get as overwhelming. But you make the point for instant and spot feedback, right? That's essentially your principle. And in fact, Pete Blackshaw wrote a book, and the title was Satisfied Customers Will Tell 3 Friends, and Angry Customers Will Tell 3,000. So that actually gels in with what you're saying. Okay, let me bring in Sandeep. Sandeep, from a DLF point of view, give us your view on collecting voice of the customer and using voice of the customer in your business decisions.
When you meet a customer, when you interact with a customer, or when you engage a customer, whether for shop, whether for talk, or whether for anything, what matters is a wow factor, what you create at that point in time. Who creates that, how that can be created, all that is driven by the team members working on the shop floor. You would not believe, or probably will believe, there are 40 odd people in our mall who deals with 30,000 people every day at an average. So it is the key people, those who are actually on the ground floor level, who greets, who takes the customers to the shopping floor, to the shopping stores, or rather take them to the DT cinemas, or take them to the food court. It starts from right for the position when the customer actually walks into the mall. The person who's actually opening the door for the customer, the person who is actually greeting, meeting, and smiling at the customer, the person who is directing or rather taking him to the particular outlet, it is all that team member. So it is very important for us that we connect up with the team members and we encourage them, or rather train them or educate them to listen to the customers, listen, and listen. And when hearing becomes listening, the inputs, whatever we get from the customers, that becomes a strong point for us to improve. Whether it is a negative feedback, whether it is a positive feedback, that loop gets closed. We go back to the customers, we convey our actions on the shop floors with regards to the feedback, what was conveyed to us, to the team members, and we try and create that wow factor to the customers. And we try and ensure that our team members, whoever is interacting with internal or external customers, ensures in turns that we get the repeat customers come back to the mall again. So empowerment for the team members, I feel, and my team feels, it is very important. We listen from the customer, we discuss among the management committee, we take the positive things, we also take the negative things, we make our action plan, we take collective actions, we educate, we honor, we respect the team members who can actually in turn deliver onto the ground and ensures the customers comes back again with a smiling face and they are being greeted with a wow factor which they keep it in mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So what you've essentially touched upon from a VOC perspective, from a voice of client perspective, tells us that it's really a field force that can give you that pulse of the consumer, and that in turn can help you take those business decisions.